3, 2, 1. Hi, this is John Miglosh on the hour, 10 at 10. Glad you're with me. And we're going to talk a little more about blockchain. Last time I was talking about how it worked. The way it works is that every document is analyzed, or it's called hashed. Every document is hashed. It's like the scribes of old, counting all the characters in a new manuscript and making sure that count matched the old one, and then counting the middle one, and then counting the words, and then finding the middle word, and all of those kinds of things. Each document has its own fingerprint. Okay, that's the hash, right? But the problem is anybody who has the algorithm that calculates the hash can recalculate it, change it and recalculate it. So, this wasn't secure. And this was developed by a bunch of people who wanted to just make sure the documents were not changed. Once you finished them, they were set. Okay, it was invented in 1991. Okay, so then we take the next step and we connect that hashtag in that block, or as associated with that block, to the block before it. Okay, obviously there's a first block called the Genesis block. But so block 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 contain the hashtag from the previous, not the hashtag, the hash code from the previous block. So in order to change one block and modify it, you'd have to change the whole string because it references each other. Okay, and if you rehashed it, you'd realize there was a change and an error, and it wouldn't add up. Now, the third piece that makes it even more secure is that everybody who's participating in the network gets a copy of the chain. Okay, and so what we see is like the scribes of old, or like the manuscripts of old, we can evaluate them on their hash. But then they were also widely distributed. So if you look at, for example, the New Testament, by the beginning of the 4th century, end of the 3rd century, or whatever, into the 5th century, we had about 4,000 complete manuscripts. But before that, we had distribution in the liturgy of most of the New Testament. I think you could create 100% of it, but if not 100%, almost 100%. And so we have that distribution, and then after the Vulgate, we have 12,000 manuscripts. So by the 4th, 5th century, you have no way, you can't just make changes to the manuscripts. People say, oh, it was just passed around and written any way they like. No, you can't do that because it's distributed, just like the blockchain. Okay, now what are the effects of this? What does that mean for marketing? Because over here in my pocket list, and I'm working on getting this pocket list public for you, so that all of the documents I reference are automatically contained in my Get Pocket. But I knew it used to do that, but I don't know how to do it anymore. I'm looking on how to get it onto some of the sites that I manage. Okay, so what is a blockchain and how could it change marketing and advertising? How blockchain will disrupt the marketing industry forever. What blockchain means for marketers. Blockchain and advertising, the implications for every player in the system, social media's stronghold on data, that's just about pessimism, blockchain, identity, management, market, a lot of stuff, okay, a lot of stuff. I like this article especially, how blockchain will disrupt the marketing industry forever. What are the implications? Well, one is a secure data wallet. One of the implications that was in one of those articles was that you'll have control of your data wallet, just like you have control of your Bitcoin wallet, okay, where you log in and that stuff, nobody can take that away, and if there were any transactions, unauthorized transactions, the whole network would know about it. I don't understand this exactly, completely, fully, I have to admit. I didn't understand the internet when I built my first website back in 1995, and I've been building them ever since. So, part of marketing is getting in on the buzzwords, and you got to understand this. Marketing today is faced with so much hassle that weary marketers. Marketers are worn out, okay? And there's a bunch of issues that the blockchain kind of touches on, addresses. One issue is fraud, okay? One issue is that if you know Vito and you build a website, you can say, hey, Vito, I want more hits on my website. And Vito says, no problemo. And what's the name? And you say, that's, whitetail.com, which is one of my websites. I haven't done much with it lately. But anyway, I want 1 million visitors a day. Okay, you only get 1,000 now, right? Okay, so I'll pay you $500 and I'll go on Google Ad Exchange and they'll pay me $1,000 a day, right? So I make good money. Vito makes money. And the bots come in. And the bots don't just go to one site. They go, they go to CNN, and they go to NBC, and they go to ESPN, and they go around, and they visit all these sites all day long, like a browser would, with artificial intelligence. That's the state. Some estimates, the World Advertising Association, I think it was called, speculated that up to 50% of the visitors on sites are bots. So, when you say half my advertising is wasted, well, when Wanamaker said that, he meant half my advertising was ineffective. Today, half your advertising on digital could be wasted, meaning there is no person there that you're paying for. There's not even a person. Nobody is seeing it. Nobody who's going to buy anything is seeing it at all. Okay? So, blockchain has the capability, if you're in control of your wallet, then you can be sure whether or not you're watching real news, you're watching a real site, and the site can be sure that somebody real is watching it. And in a second effect is microtransactions. So you could actually be paid for your view of the site, right? Imagine you lived next to a freeway and you had a billboard in your backyard, okay? And somebody paid $1,000 a month to be on that billboard. Okay, the $1,000 a month, some of that would go to pay the electricity for night viewing. Some of it would go to the ad network that got you that advertiser. Some of it would go to the guys who paint the billboard. But some of it would go to you who own the land, okay? And it's all verified, and that's the way the billboard industry works. Okay, the guy who the sign sits on gets some money, whereas in the current internet, I don't get paid anything for viewing and for being a legitimate viewer. No, I get free internet. Well, that's nice, but I might be worth more than that. I told somebody at church the other day. I said, now you know that there's the technology to keep spam out of your inbox, but what if there was another folder where advertisers could pay to be in it, right? And they just said, I'll give you, Mr. Consumer, I'll give you a nickel every time you open an ad from me, or $1 or whatever. How bad do you want to get to me? depending on how much time you've got. Okay, you could just open ads, and there are some sites like that, but blockchain makes this kind of work. Nobody has to send checks. Nobody has to deposit into PayPal. It can go right to your account. The account can contain the identity and can pay you for this. So it could potentially eliminate fraud, which there's rampant rife fraud in digital advertising. It could also pay you to view the ad, so that you actively, check ads that you're looking at, okay, and get paid for that. It could perhaps break the stronghold with Facebook. Facebook doesn't tell me what they're keeping on me, and it doesn't tell advertisers exactly who they're hitting. Not that we really care, as long as it moves the needle, but and that's the problem with it. The promises of blockchain sound a lot like the promises of the early internet, wouldn't you say? Sounds just like the early internet, right? So will it happen? Well, a lot of the promises of the internet did happen. So, yeah, probably it will. Okay, I just think you should be aware of it. You should be thinking about it. And feel free to write me. We're coming up on 30 seconds to go. But because Facebook and Google have such power right now, you may see legislation that says you can't use blockchains for advertising. Who knows what you'll see, right? Who knows? But I just want you to be aware. I want you to be aware that this stuff's coming down the pipe. That the blockchain, what the blockchain does for exchange of value, the internet did for exchange of information. I think that's a phrase I picked up. So we're at the end of the hour. I want you to share these videos. I'll post to LinkedIn. I'll be posting these in different places, but share them. Make your friends aware. Every day we're getting more viewers. So thank you for watching. I'm John Miglosh for the WDMA and the International Society.